Welcome to It's Been How Long? The podcast about Cherry Hill High School East students from the late 1970s and early 80s. This is Kara Siegel. I'd like to welcome Andrea Garfield into the It's Been How Long podcast studio today. Hey, Andrea.
Good morning, Kara, and good morning to everybody out
Yeah,
there in the alumni group.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's 44 years since graduation.
Yes.
And I'm wondering, what are you up to? Where are you? What are you doing?
Well, I live in the mountains of Ashland, Oregon, 5,000 feet up. And I live in an ashram, or, to be more simple, a meditation retreat center. And so I have basically devoted my life to my spiritual path and to peace on earth and everywhere for all living beings and equality consciousness. So in my days, what I do is something called seva, which is selfless service. And we all wear many hats here, but the thing that takes up really most of my time is I work with primates at our tiger sanctuary, and they've all come from abused backgrounds. And I think I sent you a picture of Samantha, my baboon. So that's what I do with my day. Work with the primates and the tigers, and we have a lot of dogs and cats there too. So they all have a story that would kind of break your heart, but now they live in a beautiful place of dignity and peace and compassion. And so that fills most of my time. Yeah.
And did you have to get special training because for caring for primates?
Well, it was really sort of, I obviously had no training with anything like that. So it was really kind of on the job training. I mean, we had people come from different places like Marine World, or someone who works with primates, who's done a lot of, you know, um, they're all in the film industry kind of a thing. But it was really just kind of, in a way, learn as we go. We have really strong safety protocols, obviously, because we're working with wild animals, and
Yeah.
which is kind of, it's kind of amazing to have a relationship with a wild animal.
Hmm.
Their consciousness is so big and so profound, and honestly, the gratitude that they have, every morning when you get there, they wait for you to come. You make
Hmm.
up the whole world, you know. Um, so yeah, so I have, that. So it's really been, we've learned a lot as we've gone. We've had some of the best, vet care,
Okay.
great people who've come in and, volunteer their time. Some of the greatest people who have worked with animals in the industry.
Okay.
Um, so yeah, I've had, it's been 32 years now.
Okay.
So
A
my
lot of training.
relationships with
Yeah.
them are, really precious and special, and, kind of intimate, and,
Yeah.
you know,
So what do you do for fun on your days off? Is there a pickleball court there?
okay. There's no pickleball court, although I would very much enjoy a pickleball court, I would have to say. But no, I mean, for me, it's kind of like, the little things in life. So I kind of enjoy just having a day, and, where I can like connect with you or other people that I love, or my puppy, just went to heaven
Yeah, I'm so sorry.
just like 6 weeks ago.
Mm.
So, that, she's my baby. She was 17 years old.
Mm.
Pomeranian. So it was her time, and she's definitely romping and enjoying the Rainbow Village, but I miss her every moment. So just hanging out with her, honestly, and watching a movie, on any given day, because my days and my nights are actually pretty busy in terms of a lot of spiritual practices, focused on peace or healing, or, that kind of a thing. So yeah, just downtime is really fun for me.
Okay.
And then also, I would say, I'm really close with my family. and the friends I'm still close with. And so, when am able to, I loved to travel. I have some friends, close friends from college, that also include Valerie DePenna, where
Mhm.
we meet up once a year and we go to Palm Springs.
Oh, very nice.
And yeah, that's really fun because all we do is just laugh and eat and just enjoy each other's company. I never feel like there's a lot I have to do
Hmm.
anymore for fun. It's just so much more about like being in the presence of people that I love, or when I used to be able to hug and kiss my little puppy, you know, simple
Gotcha.
things, watching a great movie.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
activities you did back at East, uh, things, what sorts of things were you involved in back there?
So I started out with sports. Um, I've always loved sports my whole life. So my freshman year, I was on the varsity bowling team,
Yeah.
and I was on the freshman softball team with you.
Yep.
I
Yep.
don't even know if we were any good. Uh,
I don't think
we
so.
won any games or anything.
Yeah.
I don't even remember.
I'm gonna. So I reviewed this with Debbie Yerish when we talked, and I'll say, do you remember? Oh, and I'm blanking on his name. The coach. He brought us into the I want to say, or maybe it was sophomore year, brought us into like a room, turned off the lights, played We Are the Champions, and we all got all riled up and then ran out onto the field and then lost. I don't know if you remember that. That might have been 10th grade and not freshman year, but
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
we didn't have such a great time. Now the varsity team might have been better. I did not uh, I didn't specifically ask BJ Zellers about that, but
Right.
yeah, certainly freshman and sophomore, not so much.
Not so good. Yeah. I remembered a lot of suicides. I
Okay.
remember running a lot of suicides.
Yes,
But
running.
that's
Yes.
about all I remember. But yeah, so I started out with the sports. Oh, I was a cougarette also,
Yeah.
pom
Yeah.
pom girl in the marching band. And I was always in the choirs and I was in the orchestra.
Yep.
And then I started growing more into the arts.
Yeah.
I did
Yeah.
plays and I did the dance companies. I was in orchesis.
I have a question. So I saw on your list, Orchesis and Pace Setters, which I knew were the dance
Yeah.
companies. So first question is, what's the difference between the two of them? Like, were there different forms, like one, modern, one, or techniques, or what was the difference between those two?
Well, the main difference is that, well, Pace Setters was Carol Swift.
Okay.
And I don't think we had to audition to be in Pace Setters. I think
Okay.
anybody who wanted to dance could be in Pace Setters.
Got it.
And it was a great company and it was a lot of fun. And so she just had her own style of choreography.
Got it.
Orchesis was a more competitive experience in terms of getting in. We had to do like a major
Oh,
audition.
okay. Okay.
We had to do bar work and da da da. And so then we had a core group of dancers who worked with Barbara Hall, who
Okay. Okay.
love with all my heart, and
Hmm.
she was a phenomenal choreographer and a
Okay.
phenomenal mentor. I mean, we did so many different styles of different great choreographers, and I mean she was a genius, honestly.
Oh,
And
that's great.
it was a little bit more of an intensive focus.
Hmm. Hmm.
And we could get out of class for rehearsals for orchestras where we probably couldn't for pace setters. you know
Gotcha. Gotcha. What
so
was chansons or chansons?
oh,
That
chansons.
chansons. What was that?
That was one of the choirs.
Oh,
um
okay. Okay.
yeah, it was one, but it was an all-female group.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right.
So the difference between that and then chamber singers was like mixed men and
Right.
boys and girls, men and women.
Yep.
And
Yep.
chansons was just an all-female.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah. And
Very good.
different directors.
Yeah.
Donna, I can't think of her last name now, but she did the chansons, and
Okay.
then Barbara Sully. Oh,
Tolly, that sounds right. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
she did chamber singers.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So
All
yeah,
right. Yeah. That's interesting.
and all of them you had to like audition for,
Hmm.
then you'd get
Yeah.
put in.
Well,
groups.
that's great. So you covered a broad swath of things. 'Cause I also saw you have like student council fourth year, so or something like that. So you even
Oh, I
got your
did?
yeah,
I
that's what it
don't
says.
remember.
Yeah. So you even got your finger into politics. Who
Oh,
knew?
that's hilarious.
So what did you do after graduation? Where did you go to school?
I went to Mason Groves School of the Arts. It was
Which is
a,
where? Sorry, which is
it's
where?
in New Brunswick.
Okay.
It was a part of Rutgers, but it was an acting
Okay.
conservatory within the university.
Okay.
So I got my BFA in acting. It was a 4-year, very intensive Meisner method program. So Meisner is a specific technique of acting.
Oh, okay.
You sort of begin with Stanislavski and then you have different branches off, and Meisner was one of them. So that's
Okay.
what I studied with Bill Esper and Catherine Gately. I'm sure nobody really knows these names, but they were great acting teachers
Oh, great.
the day. And it was a very competitive program. Like we started out with 30 people in our class and then we graduated with 13.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, and then in my summers I would go to summer stock, you know,
Okay.
and do all of that. So that was the school part of things. I
Mm-hmm.
loved it. I loved everything about that craft,
Mm-hmm.
the transformation mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually. I ate it alive.
Yeah.
I
Did
had
that
so much
launch
fun.
you to like, or could that launch you to like Broadway, or what was the career? What was that career sort of thought goal back in college?
Yeah, oh, absolutely. When you have a really strong technique or foundation, it gives you a way to work. So it can take you anywhere.
Okay.
Of course, theater, I absolutely loved. And there's just slightly different ways to work. I think of theater like running a marathon because you're working moment to moment to moment and you're building the moments. Whereas, like, if you do film or television, it's kind of like a sprint and you have to figure out your moments and what you're going to do in the next thing, but sometimes you don't even like shoot in order, you
Okay.
know. But yes, it gives you a foundation so you always have a way to work no matter what circumstance you're thrown into, you know.
Okay. All right. And
So
so did you got an opportunity to do some film or TV work? Is that right?
yeah, so when I first graduated, I did a national tour, and so I went all around the country for my first year, which was great. Saw the country, and then yeah, I moved into New York City, and which was incredible. All my friends, we were all just like living the dream. Saw a lot of theater. I started doing a lot of commercials and
Okay.
television work and a little film. I did more film once I got to LA,
Okay.
because I was in New York for like 3.5 years.
Okay.
Oh, shout out to Reggie. I was in a rock band during that time as well.
Oh, wow.
They'd like CBGBs and places
Wow.
like that. Um,
What did you play?
I was a backup singer
Oh,
in
okay.
rock band. It was my
Oh, that's
grandmother's favorite thing that I ever did because she could hear. She's
okay.
like, I can hear you, Johnny
Oh,
baby.
that's great.
You know,
Just a quick drop back. So the national tour that you went on, was that a show? Was that a or
it was a
a
show. It was
review?
a musical, Seven
Okay.
Brides for Seven
Oh
Brothers.
yeah. Okay. I know
So
that
it
one.
was like a full on,
Yeah, that's a big production. Lots of people.
yeah, and traveling all over the country, but it really gave me an opportunity to see the whole country, to save money, and then the bus like dropped me off in New York City, and I got that job actually while I was in college. I went into New York and I did one of these things called a cattle call.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Thousands of people just like showed up,
yeah.
blah, blah, blah. I had to keep going back for callbacks and ultimately, got that job. And so
Oh,
I had
that's
that
awesome.
opportunity to, yeah, jump into that right after college. So that was a great experience.
Yeah.
Um, and then, yeah, so that was the New York part of things.
Mm-hmm.
And then I moved to LA. And in LA, I started a theater company with some of my close friends. Incline the theater company. That was a phenomenal experience. I started to do more film,
Mm-hmm.
still did a lot of commercials and, continued doing regional theater. off
Was there
Broadway.
anything, any film or TV thing that we might all know or have because I know there's just a ton of stuff out there that we might have heard of, might not have. Anything we might have known?
Well, I did the Cosby Show.
Oh wow.
And shout out to Lenny Goldberg and the Monty Python fans. I worked with Eric Idle in a
Oh wow.
film.
Very
And
nice.
I know Lenny said, don't meet your heroes kind of a thing.
Yeah.
And I want to say to all the Monty Python fans that Eric Idle is a wonderful person, very warm, very funny, great to work with.
Oh, that's
Um,
great.
so yeah, I did a film called Missing Pieces with him, and I did a little thing in something called Late for Dinner. I did some movie of the week stuff,
Okay.
you know. I really wanted to do. I was up for this role that I wanted so badly. Do you remember that movie League of Their Own?
Yes. In fact,
Baseball players.
I just watched that. That's so
Oh,
funny.
you did?
I did. I just sort of, yeah, I was talking with my kid about, and we would just watched it yesterday. Yeah, that's so funny.
Right. So coming full circle with the whole sports thing
Yes,
and the
yes.
acting thing, I was like,
Yeah.
oh, this is my part, and we had to actually audition
By
uh,
playing?
at USC. We had to play baseball and
Nice.
with all these coaches, and you couldn't even read for the part unless you passed the baseball part, which I
Aw-
did.
Awesome. All right.
So,
So
but
freshman
freshman,
softball.
sophomore
Look at that.
kicked in, did its job. I pitched.
Oh,
I,
wow.
yeah, it was great. But I did not get that film,
Oh,
and at that time I was devastated.
oh,
I was like, this was my role.
yeah, yeah.
They ended up recasting that like 3 times or something till
Ah,
they
okay.
ended up with the celebrities that they ended up putting
Yeah,
it,
yeah,
into that film or whatever. Yeah.
yeah. Oh, wow. That's so funny. That's
Isn't
so
it
funny.
funny?
It
Yeah.
is. It is. So, was there a class or a teacher at East that influenced you beyond your high school days?
Well, I would say, Bob Nations and Barbara Hall,
Yeah.
of course, because yeah, because that's where my world, took off. And Barbara I kept in touch with for a long time. I've lost touch with her.
Okay.
She got very involved in the entertainment industry as a production I don't maybe like a second AD or
Hmm.
she's doing a lot of film work now.
How much
Um,
older than us was she? Would you have said?
I don't know. It's
Okay.
so weird because you think of them as so much older, but the truth is not so much, right?
No,
So
generally,
maybe only like 15 years older
yeah,
or something.
maybe, yeah.
Anyway, she was brilliant and she gave me so much of a foundation of dance and the arts and yeah, and then Bob Nation too. I mean,
Yeah.
he was great and I was in the Thespian Society and
Hmm.
the
Yeah.
play and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'd say they were the biggest influences.
So did you have a job back in high school?
I did.
Hmm.
Um, First of all, I'd like to say I would rather have had Amy or Judy's job dealing with chocolate.
Oh.
FYI, I love me some chocolate. But I in the summers I worked at Bobby Clark Day Camp.
Oh, okay. Did you
And
skate? I mean, Bobby Clark
I
hockey.
did no, we had I know we had no there was no
Okay.
ice rink there
Okay.
whatsoever. There was a pool, but it was not covered with ice. Nobody did
Okay.
any, although I think he showed up at the camp every once in a while,
Okay.
you know.
Yeah.
I was the dance counselor there.
Okay.
So that was fun. The kids would, just sort of come. I didn't have any one particular bunk, I'd get to work with everybody,
Yeah.
all, and my brother and his friends also were counselors and some of my friends in high school, like Doreen Rudolph, and I can't remember if Susie Eichenbaum and Ellen were in that camp too, or Amy Cohen.
Okay.
Um, so yeah, so we did that in the summers, and I think I also worked at like Gino's,
Hmm.
which I don't think exists anymore in the world. The Gino's Giant Kentucky Fried Chicken still exists, but I don't think there's a Gino's out there anywhere.
Yeah,
So
I don't know. Yeah, it's a good
dreams gone
question.
by. I was a hostess. They gave me this very specific job to be a hostess. So imagine being like in a McDonald's and going, "How's your meal? You enjoying your meal?" People would leave me
Wow.
like $1 on the table.
Yeah.
It's funny.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, you don't have that anymore.
You know,
Did you have a high school sweetheart?
I didn't.
Okay.
Um, like many who have been on your podcast, I'm sure I had my share of crushes.
Yeah.
But I definitely was shy, in that way. So no, I
Hmm.
did.
Okay. And did you ever get married? Have children?
I never got married. I have so many children, but like gibbons and
Yeah.
baboons and squirrel monkeys and spider monkeys and my
Very
puppy.
cool.
My puppy as if she came from my womb,
Yeah.
you know, that much
Sure.
of my baby.
Yeah.
But yeah, so a lot of animals,
Yeah. That's
babies.
great. Is do you still have some folks from East you're in touch with, you say? I mean, you travel with them
I
and
do, I do. I still am very much in touch with Karen Camarado and Suzanne Santry and
Mhm.
Connie Rocco,
Oh,
and of course
wow.
Valerie DePena.
Do you ever
And
play do you ever play poker with those guys? Because I think they have like a
they
like maybe a
do,
monthly poker game.
they
Do you ever get
do.
online and play with them?
No, I never do. I never do. And I'm always at the Tiger Sanctuary,
Okay.
honestly. But my sister goes, which
Oh,
makes
really?
me, feel like there's a part of me
There.
that's
Yeah.
there. And I do love poker. I grew up with poker. My dad used to play
Oh,
poker, around the
wow.
kitchen table. So if I lived on the East Coast, I would be at that poker game.
Okay. All right.
Sadly,
Good to
I'm
know.
not. Yeah.
Good to
Mhm.
know. Anybody you were tight with that you lost touch with and maybe don't see on Facebook or
Um, I mean, not so much. Facebook is helpful in
Mhm.
that way. I mean, I remembered, Joan Bueller and I used to
Yeah.
play catch all the time, ride our bicycle to some field and I'd pitch and she'd catch, and I think I connected with her maybe once, but then lost her again.
Hmm.
But that was also the earlier years,
Yeah.
but I think Facebook is great that way.
Hmm.
Um, although, I got hacked like twice.
Oh,
So
wow.
fucking
Yeah.
Facebook.
Yeah.
So I lost a lot of friends that way. So anybody out there listening, if you would like to be my friend, friend me.
Yeah, there you go.
We can
There you go.
reconnect.
There you
Yeah.
go.
Oh,
There you
I
go.
wanted to say also with the Tiger Sanctuary,
Hmm.
um, that's on Facebook. So if
Oh,
people,
okay.
anybody, it's a group on Facebook. So if anybody likes to see swimming tigers or tigers playing in the snow, you can, do that, join that group if you want. And, or you can message me and I'll invite you to that
Okay.
group and, you
Oh,
know,
very good.
watch the tigers.
Very good. So, do you have a standout memory from high school? Maybe inside school, outside school with a friend, whatnot.
Um, I have a lot of memories that still make me giggle, but I don't know that they would translate. So, and we had our share of shenanigans, when we would perform, the choirs and stuff like that. Things that I'm probably not proud of. And I have a problem in that if I get triggered, something makes me laugh, I pretty much cannot control myself for the rest of the time. I don't know how I became an actor, quite honestly, because that's why I didn't have a bat mitzvah, in fact,
Oh,
because I was afraid I would get on the beamer, find something funny, and just not be able to, control myself.
rein it back in.
Rein
Okay.
it back in. Yeah. So a lot of just like goofy times with, friends in that way.
Yeah.
And, you know,
Okay.
yeah.
So, is there anything you wish classmates knew about you back then or know about you now?
Yes. I love the arts so much. I really believe that they're a tool for healing, for upliftment, for inspiration. And so when I stopped acting, I became a visual painter. And mostly what would just start to show up um, were angels. So I have kind of a connection with the angelic realm, and I write music as well. But So I started out painting, and I would do something called personal angels for people. And now I've taken that to another level, and I started to work with fair trade artisans in India.
Oh, wow.
And so I've been placing my angels on different clothes and a cool hobo bag made of upcycle saris and t-shirts and different things. And my base, I call it Angel Swag.
Mm,
So here's my commercial, angelswag.net.
okay.
But my main purpose for this is, and for like everything that I do, is just to remind people, that they're not alone, that you're loved, and that you are that love. So I have that little site with my angels. Some of them are of my puppy too, who was named Angel. So
Oh,
I have
okay.
her like next to a Buddha, be
Oh,
the Buddha,
yeah.
things like that. So if anybody wants to peek at the angels, I would love that. Let me know what you think. And yeah, so I would say that would be my main thing to share.
No, that's great. That's great. Have you ever been back in the building since we graduated?
I don't think I have.
Okay.
Um, no, I
Okay.
never, I'm hardly on the East Coast. I was trying to think like in my younger days, like when I
Yeah.
just turned, from college or something, but I don't know that I have.
Okay. All right. So we're back in 1980. You just graduated. You're looking out 44 years. Is this where you saw yourself?
Oh God, no. I mean, I did not know, I didn't know what an ashram was. I didn't know what a guru was. I mean, I would say, like, if I looked back on myself, the different things that I thought or some of the mystical experiences that I had, it would make sense down the road. But I didn't have a clue about a life like this at that
Yeah.
time. So, no.
Okay. Did you enjoy high school?
Yeah, I did. I think I discovered myself much more once I left high school. But yeah, I mean, it was all about the activities for me.
Yeah.
I don't remember many classes really. I remember getting out of class more than, being in class. Of course, I loved my friends. And yeah, I think high school was great. And then I think from there, I evolved much more as a person. Yeah.
What's the best piece of advice you'd go back and give your 18-year-old self now?
I would say, in addition to all the really wonderful insights that everyone has given, because really, everything that everyone has said has really touched me and been really profound. Um, I would say to add to that would be maybe just that life really is a journey,
Hmm.
and that to do these are things I'm still working on, right?
Right, yeah.
Do your best to just really be present in the moment, and that forgiveness of yourself, compassion for yourself and all others, gratitude, those are main keys to opening every door, and that every single moment is an opportunity to bring you more to yourself and to grow who you are as a person. So nothing is ever really a waste of
Yeah.
of a happening, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'd say, yeah, it's the journey,
Yeah.
in my
I-
opinion.
That's a good thought. I mean, even for us now, right? A lot of us are retiring, some are still working, parents becoming grandparents, and so we're all still on a journey, even 44 years later.
Forever. And even after we pass from this world, we'll still be on a journey, and I will never retire. It's what I do. Right. Even after I leave this world, I will still be working for the greater good of
Okay.
all
Uh,
mankind.
We
Yeah,
thank you for that.
yes. I thank you that all of us for that, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So we've reached our fast and furious finish, as it were. So I don't know, did you have a favorite TV show or a favorite movie or a favorite book back in high school? So,
Probably a lot of the similar ones that everyone has said that they watched. But I would say, like, even now, I'm one of those people who really loves movies about like sports and people overcoming obstacles or
Hmm.
true stories that are uplifting, So I remember loving Chariots of Fire. That
Yeah.
really stuck with me. And of course, I was like in disco at that time. So there was the whole Saturday Night Live and, well, no, Saturday Night
Right. Fever.
Fever.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that kind of thing. So yeah,
Okay.
uh, I think.
That's good. And did you have a favorite musical group or artist or genre? You played in your own musical group, and here we go, Reggie.
Yes,
Heaven's Edge.
Heaven's
Uh,
Edge.
so did you have a favorite group back then? You were
Um,
playing?
well, of course, we were all about the disco music.
Right, right.
I really love all music. I
Okay.
remember loving Fleetwood Mac.
Yeah.
Like Jody, I was a always have been a Barbara Streisand uh big fan and kind of soul connection there. Um, so yeah, I could listen to anything and honestly really have just love it. I think
Hmm.
there's nothing like music to bring you to yourself.
Yeah.
Truly, truly.
Yeah. Yeah. A different group or a different type for the mood you're in. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Did you have a favorite place to hang with friends, or was it a place like Ponzio's, or was it like the water tower like some? Did you have a favorite place to hang?
Well, every weekend we would go, disco dancing. So we had like Emerald City,
Hmm.
and then we had this place called the Winter Circle
Okay,
until it got raided by the police for underage drinking. We were there at the time,
but you
so
weren't underage drinking, of course not.
I don't even think I don't even think I had a fake ID. I don't know how that happened. But yeah, so that got raided while we were in the club, which was definitely a memory. I somehow escaped. I walked through the line where they were carting people like I was, and they didn't see me, like I was invisible, and it's like ran to the end of the parking lot and escaped. Some of my friends were not as lucky. So, but we would go there every weekend until that happened.
Okay,
And probably like Olga Steiner
yeah,
and Ponzio's more with my family.
okay,
But
all
yeah.
right. So here's the part where I pull out a lovely photo.
Yeah, there
I
she
don't know,
is.
how did you get away with not wearing a cowl neck while the rest of us had to wear a cowl neck?
I don't
Um,
know, but it's a sweater I'm wearing,
yeah,
right?
a sweater over a
Got
like a collared blouse. Yeah.
a-
And your quote is, if you wish to find yourself, look not in the mirror, for you will only see a reflection. I'd
Yes,
say that held up well.
it did held up. It did hold up well. The funny
Not
thing about
everybody's has, by the way.
not
Not everybody's has.
the funny thing about that is I actually, when I went in for my picture, I did not have a quote. And I went into this room where some people were sitting on the couch. I don't even remember who they were. And I was like, I need a quote. Do you have a
Yeah.
quote? And
Yeah.
someone said that. And I was like, oh, that's good. And
Okay.
but now that was like kind of like a grace or something, because that really does reflect so much of my life,
Yeah.
but I didn't know it then. So it was like a little angel drop in whispering, here's a good one. And
Yeah. Very
yeah,
cool.
so funny.
So, what language did you take at East, and have you ever found it useful?
I think I thought that I took French and Spanish, but
Okay.
maybe I didn't. Neither one is useful because I don't really remember anything. And actually I love languages, so I wish I would have made more of that. But no, so nothing was useful there.
Okay.
For my present situation.
Yeah. All right. Lastly, is there anything you want to say to anybody who might be listening, or someone who might be listening out there from our class?
Well, first I would just want to say thank you to everybody who's been participating on the podcast. I've really been touched by every single person. And secondly, I would say that, we're in a very vulnerable time in our world. And love truly is the most powerful force in the universe. You cannot fight hate with hate. You can only dispel it with love. So every action that any one of us takes at any moment that is uplifting and loving and joyful, compassionate and forgiving really makes a difference in not only in our lives personally, obviously more fulfilling, but also in the collective consciousness of everything. So I just want to thank everybody for being the tremendous hearts and souls that you are and making the difference that you do in all the small, unique, wonderful ways that you do in your life, because it affects us all, affects the world. And, like you said, giving and receiving love, that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
So
Well, thank you, Andrew. This was great. This was great. It was
it
so great to
was
catch up with you.
great.
Really appreciate it.
Thank you. I appreciate it too, Kara. I really do. And I appreciate everybody out there. So
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah. Well, great. Well, you have a wonderful day.
Thank you. You have a wonderful day too.
Bye.
Okay, bye.
Thanks for joining me on It's Been How Long? The podcast about Cherry Hill High School East students from the late 1970s and the early 80s. A shout out to my cousin Brad Corbett, whose podcast We Weren't Friends in High School inspired me to do this podcast and whose advice and encouragement have been so helpful. Thanks also to my husband, Randy Cockdale, who read all the fine print on the podcast hosting website so I wouldn't have to. And thanks to Jeff Lyons, content consultant and guinea pig, and to Deborah Smead, also content consultant. And thank you to all our classmates who are listening in. See you next week.